Chris Martin has become an internet star after copying the selfies that his 19-year-old daughter posts on Instagram.
It's exactly what the world needs right now.
We know that you are voted Hero of the Week in the UK.
This is my favorite dude right now.
Chris Burr Martin. Visionary. Genius. American patriot.
There's Selfie Dad now. Selfie Dad, come on in here. Burr Martin, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody, welcome to another edition of the Burr Martin Experience Podcast. I'm your narcissistic host, Burr Martin, sitting to my right, or to my left, however you're holding the video.
Your right.
My right.
You only have one right.
My co-host, Jenny. And so, we're, you're smart mouth already. So anyway, if you caught that ahead of time, yes, this is being video recorded. So you go to YouTube. It's very exciting. We're all very excited right now. The emotions are running high. And because I finally said, screw it, let's videotape one because a lot of people are stuck in their houses and are running out of things to watch on Netflix.
And they need to see our faces, apparently. That's a must.
If I watch another stupid Nicolas Cage movie, I'm going to freak out.
Well, when you're having a crappy day,
I know.
watching Nicolas Cage. Shame on you.
It's that and this whole coronavirus shutting everything down that's adding to my stress.
What? What are you talking about?
I know. You know what? And you know what? Let's just get this out of the way right now. We'll get to the funny later. We'll get to the funny later.
Serious.
So I did a post on my Instagram, The Real Burr Martin, and I was just basically saying, look, there's people out there that have compromised immune systems, and they're going, sorry, I keep up my hand like right there. That's weird.
Upstaging me, whatever. I get it.
And so there's people, I'm still hearing people that are just like, I'm going to the bar, I'm doing this, I'm going, how come? And people are upset that certain things are being canceled because the large groups can't show up.
Dog shows.
Look, we all want those back, but it's not going to happen. This is a new world, and I know you don't like the language that I use, but if I see you bouncing around and you're all happy and gleeful, and you say to me you don't have it, I'm going to nut punch you. There's people, because my Instagram post is filled with people who are telling me about they have certain diseases or things that happen. They came out of surgery. The compromised immune systems. This isn't just killing old people. This is killing people that, like the 21-year-old, I think it was a soccer coach. Mm-hmm. He didn't know he had diabetes, and so when he caught it, they went to the hospital. They found he had it, but it was too late, and he died. People have things they don't even know they have, and this affects Cassie because of her cancer.
She's sick every month. Her immune system is crap.
So just if you're one of those people who are going out there going, just kill old people, I don't have to worry. I need you to find me, and I'm going to give you a choice. I can either nut punch you, or I can dog walk you. Either way is fine with me, whatever works for you, but that's what's going to happen.
Can I do the dog walking? Because that's my
specialty. Dog walking. There's another thing I was going to use, but I know you don't like the language.
Probably.
It's going to be called a dick kick. So if you're a guy, if you're a girl, I'm going to have to dog walk you.
Isn't that good enough to...
You know, for guys, nah, because I can be meaner to guys. It's just a guy thing. So anyway, if you, a lot of people just need to grow up. That's just all I'm trying to get at. Is it's affecting everyone. It's just going to get worse. So nut up or shut up. Shut up or get nut up. I don't know.
And I didn't think it was as big of a deal as it is, but
a lot of people did. It's weird.
And the virus itself isn't as bad. It's mainly the fact that we can't keep up with the volume. We don't have the resources. Right. That's the whole problem. Is
what do they have to cancel? Well,
yeah, it's overloading the resources that we have. So we just. just imagine if everybody gets the flu all at once, rather than spreading it out over the winter, and some people toughing it out and all of that. No, just everybody gets super sick all at once, and we just overload everything. We just don't have the resources, and that, to me, makes more sense. And that's
we have about 41 beds in our hospital, and that's an apartment complex. So everybody else who doesn't live in that apartment complex and gets sick, you're screwed.
Hope you're okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the way it is.
People
So.
can be okay at home, but the thing is, we have such a population of people that won't.
Right.
So
anyway, we'll get to the funny. I just had to get that out of my system because I'm just
bringing us all down.
Well, I work near Idaho, and Idaho is really fighting not being like everybody else and not doing anything. And Idaho, man,
I love Idaho, but
my love is failing.
Yeah,
just
behind on some
you
things.
guys got to figure something out because there's people out there that this is really going to affect.
It's because
we haven't even reached
the
the
woods
peak.
are so far from each other that they don't think it's
Hard to get AM radio.
It is.
Some of the places.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Stagecoach doesn't come that often. So.
All right. Well, if you're an Idaho listener, we thank you for listening. We'll see you around.
Sorry. Bye.
All right. So let's get into the fun. I got some nearly news, and afterwards, people seem to like the test that I gave you. So later on, I'm going to test you on another plague.
Okay.
Black
Bring on the
plague.
plagues. Ooh.
I have a game I call, hey, we needed to call it the black plague, but it's not racist, so don't worry.
But it was okay to call it the China virus.
They called it the black plague because it's not. It's not. Did you hear one congressman was talking to an Asian woman and said, oh, it's the Kung flu.
You know, that was
Just
fun
when you
to start with until Asian people started getting a lot of crap
And
for
getting
it.
beaten up, and, you know,
Getting beaten up too.
I really,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a guy that I just read a story about a guy who just beat up a Chinese guy and blamed him for the coronavirus.
Yes.
By the way,
Oh no. Am I not going to be able to post this because
Nope.
Okay.
if you're posting a YouTube video about a guy who says drink warm water or be in a sauna
Drink warm
or
water.
put a hot hair dryer in your nose, here's a way to cure that. Start your car up.
Okay, stop it. Stop it.
I want you to go around.
My family shared that too.
Big old tailpipe. Just you're not a scientist. You're not a teacher. You're not a doctor. So, and in fact, the guy who made the YouTube video, not a doctor. It's like saying Dr. Dre, not really a doctor. Queen Latifah, love her. I don't think she's an actual queen.
Like
though.
Dr. Janny today.
Yeah, it's that easy. So you are not going to beat a virus by putting a hair dryer up your nose. You're not going to stop it by sitting in a sauna. So stop it.
Or drinking more water, or drinking water every 15 minutes because it washes the virus into your stomach acids and kills it. Really?
If you think that's true, I think you need to hit yourself on a tack hammer. No, it's going to be a while before a vaccine. So just stop it.
Do you think if sitting in a sauna or drinking warm water or any of that actually cured it, that they wouldn't be telling us that?
Do you
Really?
think you're not going to get a disease by sitting in a sauna? Because I guarantee you, I've seen a lot of people sitting in saunas, and I don't want to sit next to them.
You've got Marge making up crap on Facebook trying to see who's going to share it, and everybody's sharing it.
Here's what you do. Mustard and collard greens. And you mix them together, and then you put them in your eye.
And they're setting their alarm on their phone for every 15 minutes to drink their
And then you come out and you
life-saving
say you're
water.
saved.
And then they can't leave their house because they have to pee all day.
Knuckle dragger, stop. Yeah, because it's hurting people. Because people do that, and then they go outside. I'm cured. Nope. No, you're not cured. But you will get nut punched if you come to me and say, I'm cured. I drank a bunch of room temperature water for the last 3 days.
It's really cough around your daughter.
It's really going to hurt when I kick you there because you're going to have to pee again. Enough of that.
This whole beginning is just awful.
It's awful.
It's awful.
But yeah, what are you going to do? This is free. You're welcome. All right. Let's hit some nearly news. Now, right now, there might be a very cool video effect of nearly news. I don't know.
I don't think so because the green screen doesn't even cover everything.
Yeah.
It's going to be like just
It's a half-hearted
a little
attempt.
graphic this right here. Little coronavirus things flew by.
By the way, if I'm at a Comic-Con later this year when they start up again and you're dressed as a COVID-19 germ, nut punch. So,
Especially if you put a little Chinese hat on it. It's a double nut punch.
then I take the hat off and dog walk you. So, enough of that.
A woman was slammed online after she shared a video clip of herself licking a toilet seat on TikTok. Did you hear about this one?
Yes.
Oh, I'm only going to give you her first name because she doesn't deserve anything else.
gross.
Ava,
Okay.
22-year-old influencer
Oh, and there.
from
There it
Miami.
is.
There it is.
There it is.
It gets worse. Was slammed online for licking an airline toilet seat while taking part in the so-called coronavirus challenge, which she invented herself. In the short clip, she can be seen crouching in front of an airplane toilet seat before licking it. The video, which Ava initially shared on TikTok and then on Twitter, provoked the outrage of thousands who said Ava was just looking for attention.
You think? You think?
That's what influencers do. They look for
You don't
attention.
lick a toilet because you just want to lick a toilet.
Influencers aren't building houses. They're getting attention. The influencer did not seem bothered by the strong reaction. Of course not, because there's no such thing as bad PR, and said it was a social experiment in a later tweet.
Yeah, to see how many likes she could get and how much attention she could get.
Yeah. Her video received more than 296,000 people of people going, what? And her
and no dates.
her excuse was,
Yes.
hey, I'm good looking and you're not, so I don't know why this bothers you. Something to that effect. It was awful. Her apology was as awful as the things that she licked on the toilet.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember? Says, have you seen any young people dressing like grandmas lately? It isn't for Halloween or any other holiday. The newest fashion trend for millennials is called granny chic.
Well, I have seen the gray hair because that's what Cassie was doing, but that was like 2
That's
years
more of a
ago.
steel.
So if they're
Is that
just,
that's not a granny thing though, is it?
I don't know.
I think it's more like a steel. I thought it was just a color.
The gray hair thing's been around for a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
Others are dubbing it grand millennial style. The trend has many younger people looking through thrift shops and even their grandmother's closets. They're dressing in vintage pieces and honestly look straight out of the Golden Girls.
You know, at least they're not showing their butt cheeks or their cleavage then, because Granny's buttoned up to the neck.
Silver-haired siren at 3 o'clock. Many outfits include crocheted sweaters, glasses with eyeglass chains, brooches, and clip-on earrings. While some of the shopping vintage stores, many are buying the items off of Etsy. You're making old things on Etsy. Like that. Etsy has reported that the searches for women's brooches, is it brooches?
Brooches.
Brooches? It has 2 O's.
Yeah,
Glasses, chains, lockets, and more have increased. It isn't just a grandmother fashion that's in trend. Typical grandma activities and hobbies are also on the rise, including knitting and crocheting. A 33-year-old named Sammy Davis has been among grandma.
I'm waiting for the junior. But yeah. Okay.
Is this the first one? Because I think she's got to be like 200 years old. She said,
granny.
every grand millennial takes to this trend differently, but across the board, millennials are losing their skinny jeans and leggings for ladylike look, choosing modest styles, vintage-inspired pieces, and desiring a more conscious wardrobe that impacts the environment less.
I am all for that.
Anything that stops dudes wearing skinny jeans, I am fine with. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see what religion you are. Just cover that up.
I was hoping that the whole trim your beard thing for the coronavirus thing would continue to go around, but apparently that was not true either. But that would have been nice to get rid of some of those mountain men all the way down to your belly button beards.
I want to see like trimmed, but leave the neck hair. Just a hole, like where you would put a mask.
Oh.
Just that like mutton chops and a neck beard.
Oh. Makes me itch just thinking about it.
Fox 43, name your sex tape. Fox 43, as the coronavirus outbreak spreads across the United States, the Transportation Security Administration is now allowing passengers to bring up to 12 ounces of hand sanitizer.
Ooh.
Party on, America.
Party on. Man, the freedoms that we're afforded.
We're the freedom we have now in America. The TSA said on Friday that up to 12-ounce containers of liquid hand sanitizers will be permitted.
Suck on that.
The standard allowance of liquid is 3.4 ounces, but TSA says the larger hand sanitizer bottles are A-OK, and they'll be screened separately.
Yeah. Woo.
All other liquid, gels, and aerosols continue to be limited to 3.4 ounces in a single quart size. TSA says the change will likely add more time to passenger security checkpoint screening.
They gotta go bloop, 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 and put some and smell it and make sure that's what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
A bottle that goes from 3.4 to 12 ounces, that's it's going to be extra lines. They're going to be awful.
Like almost quadrupled. It's at least tripled. So, yeah.
Ridiculous. WTTE reports the Struthers Police Department took to Facebook Thursday to ask that all criminal activity stop during the COVID-19 breakout.
You know, if you guys could just quit it.
Just knock
nice.
it off.
Yeah.
Really, due to the coronavirus, the police department is asking that all criminal activities stop under further notice. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation in the matter. We will update you when we deem it's appropriate to proceed with your bad selves.
And proceed.
Yeah. Almost felt like something I'd read out of Canada. Appreciate if you'd stop, eh?
You just, okay. All right.
Okay.
It's cool. Yeah.
All right, for now. Como reports a man driving a fully loaded cement truck while impaired took a freeway off-ramp too fast and smashed into a King County Sheriff's deputy, said the Washington State Patrol.
In his car or just the deputy himself walking around?
In his car,
big
I believe.
difference in injuries between the two.
This just whole thing reminded me of Beverly Hills Cop 2. I just had that Pointer Sister singing, and this guy just driving in a big cement truck.
Yeah, like hitting garbage cans as he goes down, just stuff flying everywhere. Yeah.
It was just after 10 a.m. when the truck carrying 105,000 pounds of powdered cement was exiting I-5 South. That was a lot. And went into oncoming traffic, smashing into the deputy's patrol SUV, which is now a Volkswagen. The impact sent both vehicles careening into a traffic light pole, knocking it over. Both the deputy and the truck driver were taken to medical center, and the deputy was treated for a broken leg.
Ow.
While the 49-year-old truck driver was evaluated, then arrested for investigation of vehicular assault and driving impaired.
Lovely.
Because he was in a cement truck. Now, you're going to have an M.
You know, if you're going to get drunk and drive around.
That's the thing.
Cement truck, you know.
KFT reports thousands of feet of toilet paper littered the roadside on Interstate 49 and Razorback Road exit in Fayetteville on Friday.
They just wanted to see who would. It's like gluing a quarter to the floor. They wanted to see who was going to stop
there and get it.
Pick it up and use it after it's touched the ground.
Meteorologist Rick Katzfee was at the scene on Friday's rollover.
He saw it from the satellite.
Local supermarket shelves have been sold out of the product recently in response to the spread of the coronavirus. That had to be thousands of dollars worth of toilet paper. Thousands.
At $8 a roll, apparently.
Yes. Providence Journal reports Mark Thibault, 48, who became one of the first patients diagnosed in the United States, said he used hand sanitizer frequently during February 14th through 22nd trip to Italy.
And look where it got him.
He shared a microphone.
Italy? Is that what happened?
He shared a microphone with a tour guide who said he was coming down with the flu. Have the black lung. He told the Wall Street Journal that he has asthma but exercises every day and rarely gets sick. He felt sluggish on the flight home. He stayed home at work but went to walk-in clinic when he felt worse. Then a few days later in the hospital, doctors at both places decided his symptoms did not qualify him for coronavirus tests, but the hospital contacted the RI department, which told him to get tested immediately because you guys screwed up. He was tested and admitted on February 27th, and he said the illness hit him like a hurricane. He struggled to, and this is kind of important because a lot of people, you just hear what the symptoms are, but he struggled to breathe, his lungs filled with fluid, and nurses in hazmat-style suits had to drain them every 2 hours. This is one of the first people that got the coronavirus, by the way.
Was
if you
this the
haven't
guy in
caught
Washington?
that
Or?
No, this is one of the first guys. He was over in Italy. The worst part, he said, was the feeling of choking. You feel like you're asphyxiating and you're panicking because you can't breathe. He kept telling himself, just get through the next hour and the next hour and the next hour. At one point, he was aware that a priest in protective gear was about to administer last rites.
Oh, hello.
He wrote a note to his wife saying that if his lungs collapsed, he did not want to be put on life support. He was an inch away from death. It's alarming when I hear people minimize it as a simple cold. It almost killed me.
Yikes.
Just passing that along. A little sort of irony in case you like that sort of thing, huh?
I saw a video today from it was the first British guy to get it, and he was actually in China.
Oh, okay.
And this was in November. And he says it was before there was even any testing or anything like that. But he said it was like a really bad cold to start off with and then went away. and then came back as a really bad flu. And he says it's part of the problem is people think they're better, and so they go out and then they get hit again.
Oh.
And then that goes away, and then they get hit again, and that's when like the coughing and the pneumonia and all of that stuff kicks in. So
there was one time, and Cassie and I were both that sick. I'd never been that sick before. And you remember it was like a couple of years ago. I couldn't sleep because I couldn't breathe. And then when I finally got to sleep, every time I would bite my tongue. It'd be 20 minutes
I remember
in,
that.
and I finally had to buy a mouth guard to go to sleep. That was awful.
That was the worst.
I don't know what I had. I don't know what she had. Daily Mail reports snakes often spark fear in humans because of their venom and speed, but one found itself completely helpless when it stumbled into the home of a deadly spider. And I showed you the video. Carmel Monroe of Australia, because of course Australia, walked into her garden shed to find a female redback spider battling a snake that it had caught in its web. A snake caught in a spider's web.
That was awful. That was an awful video. That is nightmare.
You know the snake's going, this isn't happening.
No.
Despite tossing and turning, the large snake cannot shake itself free as the spider approaches it and inject it with its venom. The redback is one of the few spider species that can be seriously harmful to humans, with its preferred habit of increasing the number of serious bites that people have received. Symptoms of the bite include extreme pain, nausea, vomiting, headache, and agitation.
Seems like that would just help you smash that thing all the easier. Give me a headache and agitate me, and I'm just going to squish you flat.
I really find it odd people are dying from a virus in Australia when there's so many other things to get you.
Kidding.
Fox News reports amid the coronavirus outbreak, KFC has suspended advertisements using the brand Finger Lickin' Good.
Oh, yeah.
As the slogan in the
Think about
UK.
that.
Yep. After Advertising Standards Authority reportedly received multiple complaints concerning the new ad was launched 2 weeks ago. And I'm sorry, but if you're calling someone to complain about a
come
commercial,
I'm
what's
sorry.
your job at home? 'Cause
It's been finger licking good since it started. That is just their slogan. Don't get all.
I'm upset that there's a bear called Smokey that's stopping forest fires, is what you're saying. I'm mad that there's little elves called Snap, Crackle, and Pop. It's been finger licking good forever, and now you're upset? Now you're upset? Where have you been?
Crackle's on crack, and I can't have my kids see him. So.
It's ridiculous. The ASA received 163 complaints from people who need something else in their lives after the ad debuted on television. The commercial called Piano showed multiple people licking their fingers while eating in public places. So they just wash them afterwards.
It's a commercial, people. They're not saying lick your fingers and then open a door.
They're not saying lick your fingers, touch a stranger. KFC.
Name of your sex tape.
It's That's every day I rode the bus. Complaints called the ad irresponsible because it potentially encourages behavior that might increase the chances of coronavirus spreading.
You big wieners.
You know what else is dangerous? Red Bull gives you wings and then jumping off a building and going, see, told ya. After airing the ad, however, KFC quickly ended the campaign before ASA had even informed the fast food chain. KFC did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment because they thought, why, this is all stupid and it's going to blow over. It doesn't feel like the right time to be airing this campaign, so we've decided to pause it for now, said a lawyer that probably had to say that. We're really proud of it and look forward to bringing it back at a later date and see what I just told you. You're going to wait for those 163 people to get over it, and then they're going to start it up again. MSN reports, just when it seemed like the world couldn't resemble the opening scenes of an apocalyptic horror film anymore, it appears the coronavirus has sparked gang warfare between monkeys on the streets of Thailand, and this is not the first time I've told you about monkeys declaring war on certain cities.
Monkey fights?
Monkey fights.
Monkey fight, yeah.
For understandable
reasons.
It was. For understandable reasons, the pandemic has led to a decline in tourism around the globe. The Lopburi monkey population is usually split in two, with one group residing in the city while the other patrols the area around the temple. And
oh, monkey gangs. That is awesome.
If it wasn't for them trying to kill you, it'd be really cool to see. Many of they need little blue hats on one and little red hats on the other. Many of the monkeys rely on food from tourists, but these are desperate times and tourists are few and far between because lots of people are isolated themselves and are working from home. There's also very few cars on the street, so the monkeys are more free than ever to roam the streets. eyewitness, name I can't pronounce, who captured the footage said, "They looked more like wild dogs than monkeys. They went crazy for a single piece of food. I've never seen them so aggressive."
Oh my gosh.
There's video and it's insane.
Oh my gosh.
Twitter reports. Remember the guy who bought thousands of hand sanitizer and then tried to sell it?
Yes.
Okay. Matt Colvin is his name, and he's a terrible person from Tennessee. Bought 18,000 bottles of sanitizer before the shortage surrounding COVID-19. He admits to cleaning out stores in multiple states and being a jerk, intending to sell it for profit on Amazon like any douchebag would. Amazon took down his listings. He says he's considering donating. Well,
You think.
Yeah, that's when the Tennessee Attorney General stepped in and said, "You're going to be donating those."
Good for them.
The moral of the story is don't be a dick, because his website looks a lot different this morning after the Tennessee Attorney General said, "Yep, you and your brother need to stop buying and selling." As of last known reason, they will be donating to a local church to distribute.
Lovely. Apparently my sister-in-law had a rant on Facebook that I have not seen yet, but Roger's unable to get hand sanitizer, and he works with a lot of immune-compromised people, older people, because he works in the funeral business. And so that's, there's a lot of older people, in hospitals, things like that. He cannot get hand sanitizer anywhere.
It's ridiculous. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's,
How much do you need, really?
how much do you need?
Really?
The Sun reports a coronavirus patient in Kentucky has been placed under 24-hour 24/7 armed guard after refusing to self-isolate. I've seen this guy.
Okay.
Governor Andy Beshear said the state had to make the unusual move to protect others nearby. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear spoke to the media on Saturday. Deputies are now stationed outside the 53-year-old man's house around the clock. It's a step I hoped I'd never have to take, but we can't allow one person who we know has the virus and refuses to protect their neighbors.
Oh my gosh.
The unidentified man is also a douchebag. The also coronavirus patient in the county. Officials were worried that he could infect others. A total of 18 have tested positive in Kentucky. The patient had left the hospital without permission. We've got
wander. That's fine.
You know,
the
he's
nurses
done.
put on hazmat suits, but you should be fine walking
You
into
should be
Circle
fine.
K and getting a candy bar.
We've got to make sure that people who have tested positive that we know could be spreading the virus and simply refuse to do the right thing, do the right thing. This guy is just, he's a terrible person to live near. That's all I can say. He's like, I don't care. He's one of those people, his dog's pooping in your yard, and he's just like, I don't care.
And as the hurricane comes, you have to go and save his butt off of his roof because he didn't want to leave.
Because he didn't want to leave. Denver Post reports a former Florida lieutenant governor complained about Vail Resort's decision to suspend operations in a Twitter post Saturday evening that quickly drew fire from Colorado's governor and lawmakers. "Thank you for making this announcement as we are driving into Vail," Jeff Kottkamp tweeted. In all his douchebagginess, came all the way from Florida only to have our family's vacation destroyed.
Oh my gosh.
He said in man tears.
Shut up.
Colorado
baby.
Governor Jared Polis responded from his personal Twitter account with sarcasm. "Thank you for your deep concerns regarding the health of our residents in the face of a global pandemic, as well as your heartfelt sympathy for the difficulties faced by those who work in the ski industry and hospitality." Sage Newman, a spokesperson for Colorado Senate Republicans, was also critical of Contem's comments. "Come all the way from Florida only to realize Colorado is actually stepping up to prevent the spread of a global pandemic," Newman tweeted. "Fix it for you, Lieutenant Governor." Act like adults. We vote
That's
for
expecting
children.
too much.
I know.
Way too much.
CTV reports police on the north end of Vancouver Island say they are looking to reunite a lost bag with its rightful owner. Now that the 4 ounces of cocaine and $20,000 worth of cash are found inside. Port Hardy RCM.
The cash is mine, but not the cocaine.
Yeah, I don't know where the
I was
cocaine
holding
came
it
from.
for a friend.
It was a friend. So. Port Hardy RCMP said in the news release that they are called to the Hardy Bay drugstore on Friday because someone had abandoned a brown satchel. Police said the bag appeared to have been left by mistake. Thankfully, the owner of the bag was very helpful and also left us his identification with his contact information and address. Port Hardy RCMP are requesting the individual contact the local department Should he want to explain the large quantities of money and drugs in the bag? Police seized both cocaine and cash, said that they would be destroying the former and sending the latter to civil forfeiture.
Oh my gosh.
New York Times reports a Hindu... this one. Hope you're not drinking anything while I'm saying that. A Hindu group hosted a cow urine drinking party on Saturday, as they believe it wards off the coronavirus. You know what? Maybe try that, people.
Good for you.
Instead of a hair dryer and warm water, I need you to go out and drink some animal pee. Give it a shot. They consider the cow sacred, and some drink cow urine believing it has medicinal properties.
You know, all the medicinal properties were kept by the cow. That's the leftovers.
That's what urine is.
That's
You know what?
the body
I don't
didn't
want to be a typical American and tell you how to do things. But I'm thinking drinking pee's not going to help you.
It's not going to do it.
Experts have repeatedly asserted that cow urine does not cure illness like cancer, and there is no evidence that it can be a coronavirus. The party, in quotation marks, hosted by a group called the Akhil Bharat Hindu Mahasabha. I'm American, and I'm not going to try.
Cow pee drinking club.
Yep. Their shirts are cool. The logo is awesome.
The hats.
I just wish all the shirts didn't come in just yellow. At its headquarters in the county's capital, was attended by 200 people that should know better, and the organizers hope to host similar events elsewhere in India. We have been drinking cow urine for 21 years. We also take a bath in cow dung, said people who I cannot believe are married. There's no way any of these people have spouses. We have never felt the need to consume English medicine. Well, that seems like a situation that's going to cure itself soon.
How is that working out for you? just wondering.
Speaking of viruses, hang on one second.
Cover your mouth.
I had a cough.
Cover
really
your
bad.
germ hole.
You know what helps though is today I
Covering
went to
your germ hole?
I went to the restroom with gloves on. The janitor's like, "Why do you have gloves on?" I said, "Well, I'm just taking extra precautions. I keep my gloves on all the time, even in the restroom." He didn't know I was joking, so I came out of did I come out of the restroom shaking my hands, going, "It's really hard to wash with these on"? Yes, I did. Did he not get it? No, he did not.
You're awful. He's gonna report you to HR for
probably.
contaminating the whole place.
HR knows me
And
well
HR
enough.
is gonna go, "Was it Chris?" Okay, never mind.
She's gonna lower her head, laugh, and then send me away.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, that was nearly news. Now, last week I tested you on the coronavirus. This week I'm going to test you on the Black Plague. And I'm going to ring this bell if you get one right, and hopefully the dogs don't think someone's at the door.
They're going to bark.
All right, here we go. Here's the game I like to call. We called it the Black Plague, but we really didn't think it'd be racist. The Black Plague historically ended in 1351, but much like the Burger King Impossible Whopper I tried a month ago, it returned several times to cause havoc to the human body.
Nice.
True or false?
Yeah, I think it was a one-time shot.
Whap. I don't have a whap buzzer. Although the period known as the Black Death ended in 1351, the plague continued to return to Europe with epidemics every few years throughout the end of the 15th century.
Did not know that.
A lot like
they should call it the Black Plagues then, because a plague is usually one and done.
I used to think it was called the Black Plaques.
That's some nasty teeth. I'm just saying.
A lot like when I was dating a psychotic ex-girlfriend. In order to break up with her, I made up an imaginary woman to blame for my indiscretion. Several researchers blame the other diseases for the plague. True or false?
True. Woohoo!
Since the 1980s, several researchers have blamed other diseases, including anthrax and typhus, for the plague. The argument claims that other diseases spread more easily between people without the required flea vector and can display similar symptoms. All right, next question. I once visited a coworker's house that could have carried the disease because, this is a true story, as I sat in the beanbag chair, I could see fleas bouncing all over me, even though they didn't own any pets.
I remember that.
True or false? Fleas can help pass the disease.
That's true.
Most experts agree that the plague was caused by Yersinia pestis, or Y. pestis, a bacillus carried by fleas that live primarily on rats and other rodents that were common in medieval dwellings. Next question. Much like me trying to eat my weight in meatloaf because I found the golden buffet prices were too high, humans usually got the plague after being bitten by a rodent flea that was carrying Y. pestis, a bacterium that stops fleas' stomach from getting full.
Didn't you just kind of cover that? Except for the whole...
Well, asbestos infects its fleas by blocking its stomach. It was the only way I'd word that joke. The fleas tried repeatedly to feed, but the blockage causing it to regurgitate bacillia into the host. When the host dies, the flea and its offspring seek a new host, infesting humans when necessary.
Nice.
Next question. Virtually nobody suspected that the ever-present rats and fleas spread the Black Plague, and a lot of us, a lot like us, when we went blaming the neighborhood children for repeatedly coming to our house years ago and wiping boogers on the wall, only to find out it was our own daughter.
True.
One of the ways...
Cassie appreciates that.
I didn't say her name. You just did. One of the ways people tried to beat the plague was to act like they were at a family reunion where they all had to pretend to ignore the fact that Grandpa Pete was a huge racist and your two cousins aren't really cousins. It's just a story your mom told you because I wasn't ready to find out my actual cousin was dating someone of the same sex. You weren't listening.
I didn't want to. I blocked it out
All
after
right.
the first part.
One of the ways people tried to beat the plague was to act like they were at a family reunion where they pretended to ignore the fact that Grandpa Pete was racist and my two cousins who were dating each other weren't really cousins.
Sure.
During the Middle Ages, people tried several ways to cure the plague, including trying to be happy, avoiding bad thoughts, drinking good wine, avoiding eating fruit, putting fragrant herbs in beverages, avoiding lechery, not abusing the poor, eating and drinking in moderation, maintaining a household in accordance with a person's status, and so on.
They were just trying to be good people, thinking that somehow that would just wash the plague away.
You know what? I'm going to avoid lechery. Let's just try that and see if that works.
If you could, that'd be great.
It'd be great. And no bad thoughts.
Sweetie.
No bad thoughts.
No bad thoughts.
That's too late. It was hard to have an exact figure of how many people died because some leaders weren't sure if they should count Siamese twins as one person or two.
That's false.
The exact death toll from the Black Death is difficult to measure from medieval sources. The number of deaths varied considerably by area depending on the source. Current estimates are that between 75 and 200 million people died of the plague. Double that if you know Siamese twins.
Then I got it right, you dork.
Black Plague is the only recent term for the disease. Before that, it was called the Kellyanne Conway.
I want to say yes. I really want to say yes.
I'll give it to you. The term Black Death is recent. During the plague, it was called the Great Mortality or the Pestilence. They probably thought this was it. Like, they really probably thought this was like God's plan to destroy the earth. Much like when your spouse's side of the family needs to move in for only a week but end up staying much longer, eating your food and asking questions like, was this always broken? After they touched it, overcrowding provided an optimal environment for disease.
Oh, for sure.
The Black Death followed a period of population growth in Europe, which combined with 2 years of cold weather and torrential rains that wiped out grain crops, resulted in a shortage of food for humans and rats. This caused people and animals to crowd into cities.
And it wasn't warm enough to kill the virus.
No.
They had no April.
It should be gone by June.
Should be.
Says well-known scientist.
Dr. Janney says by May. Only if you gargle with warm water all the time, though.
Dr. Orange Scrotus says June. Just like dog farts, many people believe they got sick from bad air.
I believe it.
Many also believe the plague was caused by pockets of bad air released by earthquakes, by an unfavorable alignment of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars in the 40th degree of Aquarius.
And all the creatures underneath the ground that they're all farting under there, and it's coming up.
True story. Many were killed by unicorn horns. A lot like when everyone's dad uses the phrase after passing gas, "What? It smells like roses." Many doctors believe that bad smells could drive out the plague. True or false?
Probably true.
As a result, some of the treatment for the disease included dung and urine, as well as other ingredients that were more likely to spread disease than cure it.
Gross. Here, wash your hands in this poo.
Hang on, we're gonna pee on the streets.
We're just hang on. Let me just get my cologne on just a second.
You know they invited everyone. Pee on the streets, people. Let's get rid of this disease. England during the Black Plague mirrored Seattle in the 1980s.
Mirrored Seattle in the night. Probably.
Prior to the Black Death, music was plentiful and cheerful, but much like when grunge music was invented during the plague, music was rare and grim.
Oh.
Other art forms included visual arts and literature also reflect misery of the time.
Lovely.
Lovely. That was the Black Plague test.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Great learning about the Black Plague.
All right.
Especially while we're in the middle of a big pandemic.
Next week,
great.
measles. Okay.
quite all right. I'm good, thank you.
Fine. All right. Usually this is the time where I do the Fast 10, but I screwed up printing them out, and so I only have the Fast 7. So here we go.
Shuffling some papers.
I know, I was looking.
Important. Okay.
This week, Trump ordered the military to take out another top Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander in Iraq. Writer of Celebrity Apprentice, or Celebrity President starts to repeat ideas after season 3. Walmart cutting its hours at 24-hour stores and other locations nationwide starting on Sunday. This is really going to hurt the crazed zombie crowds hoarding towards toilet paper.
Pretty much.
Trump took the coronavirus test. Actually, he didn't. His doctor hid it in the cheeseburger. McDonald's is now selling a 4-patty Big Mac. It's called the I can't even do it. Doggone it.
No.
It's called the McCardiac.
No, thank you.
4 patties.
That is
4.
I feel bad for having one today. 1.
4. 18,000-year-old puppy was found fully preserved in ice.
Wow.
It immediately pooped on the part of the lad that had no rug. KFC's Finger Lickin' Good ad was called irresponsible by viewers during a coronavirus outbreak, which is why you should never lick your own fingers, have a stranger do it. And finally, Twitter uncovered a revelation that Barack Obama actually follows porn star Sarah J. Like he's just trying to get ahead of Trump's next affair. So
Okay.
that's not fair on him.
Okay.
All right, that's the show, and I hope you enjoyed it. And tell me whether or not you like the video or not, because I can do this either way. And I just have to warn Janny ahead of time so she can get ready, because my ugly face doesn't get any better or worse. It just stays like this. Someone did tell me to post nudes on Instagram. Told him I would, but his mom kept them all. Anyway, that is the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. If you're just listening and you want to see the YouTube thing, look down in the comments. Not down. Yeah. Got your cleavage showing just right in the window there. Just do the whole video like this.
Not that bad.
Hey, her eyes are up here. Okay. The link will be in the show notes. Anyway, everybody take care, be safe, and stay inside.
The Burr Martin Experience is a Pants Pending Studio production.
And part of Pants Pending Studios Entertainment Network.
Find all of our great shows at pantspending.com.
Get in touch with us by emailing us from pantspending.com.
If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to the show, throw the show a rating on iTunes, and don't forget to tell all your friends.
If you want to help support the network, you can at patreon.com/pantspending.
Thanks for making us a part of your listening day.
Okay, all together on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Pants Pending.
Close enough.